We got a cease and desist letter.
We sure did.
Specifically, please cease and desist from disseminating the podcast, digital media, and or publication via any means titled.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of
The Coffee Breakup.
Yes, please, really quick before we begin, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel,
Share,
ring that notification bell,
smash that like
smash
button.
that like button. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. We got a website.
Embrace it. TheCoffeeBreakup.com.
Wow.
EmbraceItOver.com is also one. It's TheCoffeeBreakup.com.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, so to start things off, we got a cease and desist letter.
We sure did.
So we started looking around trying to get some help on this, and we stumbled upon one of our good old friends. Please introduce yourself.
Ricky Corona.
There you go. From
Corona Law Firm.
There you go. Nice. So, we needed a little bit of help when it came to this. We want to get a little bit of information. Yeah. So, and not only that, the beauty of this is, we've always, we kind of want to grow with professionals.
Absolutely.
And, to learn. At the end of the day, we want this podcast to be where you can go in, get the knowledge, get the information, and all that good stuff. So,
absolutely. Ricky, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
But yeah, glad to have you on here.
So you read this.
Read it.
What do you think?
Truthfully, it's garbage. But no. So you want to get into it? You want to get into what the letter is?
Yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, let's go into it, and then we'll expand. This we got this. So from the beginning, when we got this, we were a little bit nervous. We're an open, honest podcast, very vulnerable, and we were panicking, especially you.
Yeah, because I got it in the afternoon, the same day, and I was freaking out. I was like, "Yo, Chris, I got to talk to you," and I called him right away. And I was like, "Yo, we got a cease and desist letter," and I was like, "For what?" Right? That was like my first reaction, like, "For what?" Like I don't understand.
What have we done?
Yeah. So we went over this letter. Talked to Chris, talked to friends. I was like freaking out. And obviously we got in touch with you through a mutual friend. And I'm glad we did. But
we were panicking. Yeah, we didn't know. Because the thing is, I feel like we're not the only ones who probably experience this where we get this. So it's like, we don't understand legal jargon. And I feel like a lot of it is probably just like inflated words to intimidate you. I don't know if that's how it is in the career path. But for someone who's uneducated or unaware, this can kind of spook somebody.
Absolutely. And I could see why you guys would be somewhat scared in receiving a letter like this. We've discussed the letter. Marvin, you're a gentleman, I got to tell you, because we've discussed what you can do with this letter.
This man wants to post it on social media and tag the parties involved.
We don't want to do that. Right. What I did say is that we can do that, right?
Okay.
But we're not going to do that because Marvin here is a gentleman and you yourself are a gentleman as well.
Right.
And as gentlemen, you've decided that in the event that you did, when the public does see the letter that you received, you're going to, black out the names and
sure.
Way ahead of you, buddy.
So the bottom line is that you didn't have to do that. And more so, you didn't have to stop or cease and desist playing what you aired. There was nothing wrong with that. You didn't name anybody in that letter. We can get into that letter later on, but going back into what you were saying is that, yes, I understand how receiving a letter like this for someone that doesn't know, you see some cases cited in there, you see some statutes cited, you don't know what they mean, what they stand for. But in fact, if you actually looked at the case that they actually cited to, it doesn't mean what they say that it did. So it's understandable for you to be scared, but Marvin, you're a gentleman, and you got nothing to worry about, my man. Don't worry about it.
I appreciate it.
So then in cases like this, because of the level and like the degree of what it is that they're pretty much giving this to us for, you even said, it's garbage. But why do you think this would even be done? Because if you've reviewed it, where would you say okay, there may be something here that they're holding on to?
So,
or is this just being used to say, oh, let's spook them?
Yeah, no. So I don't want to say it's garbage. It was a well-written letter. It's well written, and it's effective to the extent that it got you to be scared.
Sure.
And I think that was what the purpose of the letter was. Now, as far as its legal significance or what can be done based on what you all did or what they allege that you did, there is no consequence, I believe, for what you did. First of all, you didn't name any names. So it's complete. And the fact that the information that you disclosed was public would take away any significance or any threat that you guys would have to this lawsuit. but it's understandable that you guys would be scared, and so to the extent that it was garbage, I want to rephrase that.
Sure. I'll say it for you. I think it's garbage.
I mean, the threat is garbage. The letter's not garbage. It's a well-written letter.
That is true.
And
That
it's
is true.
effective letter because it got you to be scared, and that's what happens. And that's, I think, the importance of being able to be represented, and people that aren't represented, and that everybody should be represented. So,
I mean, a lot of times, people don't have the resources to have, or the means to have somebody to kind of guide them through this process. It could be scary, or it is scary. So I'm sure it happens to so many other people, and in similar situations, completely different situations. So when somebody receives something like this, I mean, what is the first step, kind of, to what should somebody do, right?
Yeah, because most people, I'm sorry to cut you guys off, but all the way at the end, and even in the email, it does ask for signatures.
All right.
Right. And I think most people would say, well, I don't know what to do. Let me just sign it. But that could just be pretty much a death sentence to a certain extent.
So I would say, generally speaking, without giving specific advice on any specific case, if somebody's asking you to sign something, don't sign it. If they're threatening you, if they're threatening you with a lawsuit and it says, hey, listen, I'm going to sue you, but go ahead and sign this letter, and I'm giving you 7 days to do it, don't sign that letter.
Yeah.
But going into the cost or the reason to get represented, I mean, there's a lot of attorneys. There's pro bono attorneys. There's resources available for people that can't afford attorneys. Our firm caters to the blue collar working class environment. So we've represented people from the smallest of people to big corporation conglomerates. But it is important to a small fee may save you a significant judgment.
Right.
So if you think about it in the context of having to pay maybe a small fee compared to what can happen if you violate the law, or if you don't comply, or what the significance would be of signing this and then you do something, so it's relative to what it is.
So seek legal representation should be like the first thing to do.
Anytime you receive a letter from an attorney,
Right.
you should hire an attorney, review that letter.
Okay. Which, luckily, I mean, we have you right now. We have you to help us out.
Thank goodness. Well, look, I would like to know a little bit more about yourself. I mean, you're obviously very educated. You came in a suit. Not everybody comes in a suit. The only one that walks into this room in a suit is usually me. So you seem
that's why.
Yeah,
So I was like, I
get a
can't
match.
have the host dress better than me. And even though you are still dressed better than me, I had to at least wear a suit and try to compare.
Arguably.
You see, you got the handkerchief.
I got it all. But yes, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Who you are, where you were raised. You obviously have all your degrees, your credentials, where you work, all that good stuff.
So my name is Ricky Corona. I was not always educated, as it took me a while to get my education. I took a little bit of time off. I was in Gainesville. I went to UF. I was there for 10 years. I still have a Gainesville area code. It was the best 10 years of my life.
I got a phone call today, and it said Gainesville. I'm like, that's probably spam, right? And I pick it up, and he goes, "Hey, it's Ricky." I was
Oh my God,
shit.
really?
So I took a while to get on track, and then I met my wife, I was 25 years old, and I hadn't really had much education, and I was living in Gainesville, but without many credits. So I was enrolled in school, but not really going to class. So, I was at 25. I was like, what am I going to do? I'm saying, ride the wave. The time's going to go by no matter what. Eventually, the time went by. The credits were building, and I graduated from, undergrad, then law school, and then here I am.
Did you know that you wanted to be an attorney? Well, obviously, not. You took a while. So when was it that you said, like, what was your undergrad degree?
I majored in economics, and I did not know necessarily what I wanted to do. My family has been in law. The law firm was founded by my father about 25 years ago. Okay. So I didn't know that I wanted to be an attorney. I knew that we had the firm. And when I graduated, I took the LSAT that same May, and I enrolled in law school the following August. So it was not that it was planned that I knew I was going to be an attorney. I just stayed riding that wave.
Family kind of.
No, riding the wave, man. Everybody thinks that the time, they're like, oh man, so much time, 3 years, 4 years, but all I kept, and I said it, if I could do it, trust me,
Really?
I'm not definitely, I love what I do. So it's a passion of mine to read cases, and the sports in me makes me prepare more than other people. So I'm not necessarily smarter than other people. I prepare more than my opponents, I think, which makes me somewhat difficult to deal with as an opponent. And I love to help people, and I hate injustices. And when I saw the letter and I saw that this was an injustice, I was like, man, let me get in here. Let me see what I could do. Let me help, let me help out these good people, gentlemen people that don't want to show the names of who's on the other side here. So
Well, and we certainly appreciate it. I mean, Chris told me from the beginning, you were like down. You're like, yo, I got you guys. So,
The first message was just like, like post it on Instagram and tag him. When I saw that, I was like, man, I love this guy.
Yeah. It's incredible. Yeah, thank you so much for being here today, so short notice, and kind of helping us out.
Thank you. And in the introduction, I can't fully introduce myself without saying I have 2 beautiful daughters that I love, that are the world to me. Nice. Demi and Kaya. That's I don't know. That's the most blessed thing I've ever had. So I can't fully introduce myself without saying that I'm blessed with 2 beautiful daughters.
Awesome.
And that is very important to me.
How old are they?
Yeah.
5 and 1.
5 and 1. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 2 girls.
Awesome.
Hey guys, thank you so much for sticking around. Really quick, this break is sponsored by Manscaped.
Manscaped, who's the best below the waist grooming champions.
Totally did not read that from a piece of paper behind the lens. But honestly, this thing is the coolest thing. I mean, we recently tried it, and this one actually just came out, from the Lawnmower 3.0. This is a 4.0. Comes with a lot of other goodies as from before.
It's brand new. I tried it out. I actually liked it. I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
I tried it out. It's waterproof. It has LED lights, so you kind of see where.
Dude, tell me that light is not a game changer.
Then I've never seen anything like it.
Dude, I turned on the light and I was like, so this is what it looks like down here. So I'm always blind down there. So
so wherever you go, I mean, depending on where you're shaving, you can kind of see like where you're going. You can turn the light off if you want to.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. But the fact that it has the LED light, it's pretty damn bright.
It's bright as hell.
Right.
You could light up your entire room.
Yeah, oh my God, it's super clear. Other than that, you have the lock where if you want to travel or you're going around and
Especially
you don't want to go. Exactly. So I love traveling. So if I put it in my travel bag, I know it's safe, it's legit. I won't turn it on my travels.
It's also waterproof, which I think is pretty cool.
It's waterproof. You can shower with it. If you're in a rush or whatever, you got to jump in the shower. You can actually shave and trim down there.
And remember, it's not just for down there. It can also be for your chest. Maybe even your arms, your legs to a certain degree. Yeah. But, it was meant, for the family jewels to protect with their skin-safe technology. Like, literally, it's so delicate around the family jewels that if you mess up, you just have a problem.
Yeah. It's a little bit narrow. So it gives you the ability to just kind of navigate through wherever. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. No, and not only that, I think the coolest thing is that it actually comes with guards. So if you're not into the shaved look, you can kind of groom it, give yourself a fade down there.
You have different sizes. I think it comes with 2 different ones. And so depending on what your preference is or, whatever, you could kind of navigate through that.
Wolf it out, trim it up.
Exactly.
Line up your joint.
Line it up, give it a fade.
Yeah.
You can do whatever. But ultimately, I think it's pretty cool. It's awesome.
It's awesome. So for you to, get a little bit of goodies based on this sponsorship that we've received by the one and only Manscaped. Breakup 20 at checkout. It's 20% off and free shipping.
Free shipping. It's a game changer, man.
It really is. I don't know why I've never purchased it before. I think we're just blessed to really get this in front of us right now. So a huge shout out to Manscaped. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And because of that, we're now giving you guys the opportunity to save some money to make sure that you guys can protect your family jewels as well. So once again, Breakup 20 at checkout.
And save a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Welcome back to the show. All right, well, you graduated law and then you started working. I mean, I'm assuming, what are the usual cases, or at least, what is it that you practice? What would be your focus? Or
so the law firm does everything. Like I said, we have immigration, civil litigation, criminal law, family law, divorces, which could be relevant in this. And we'll go into that a little bit later, I'm sure. My focus in my practice is civil litigation. So I practice anything from transactional cases. Transactional is something similar to a document like this or contracts, to complex civil, crazy arbitration clauses, figuring out whether or not there's an arbitration provision in the contract, and litigating in arbitration, litigating in trial. We do all types of cases, and my focus is civil.
Cool.
Do you have a preference? Is
this one turn you on more?
Yeah, you're yes, I'm excited for this one.
So I do foreclosure defense also. And I actually had a trial yesterday that we actually won, which is difficult because our defense is never that our client paid, right? You're never going in there saying that our client paid. You have technical defenses and that we're preparing more than the other side is the most important thing. So winning with foreclosure defense where the borrower, and there's a lot of injustices, that particular case is pretty interesting. That particular case, the borrower was on a forbearance plan from Hurricane Irma, and they got a 3-month forbearance for September, October, November, and it came December. Our client made December payment, made January payment, made February payment, but the bank claimed that there was no actual forbearance, and there was even if there was a forbearance, they had to bring the account current after the 3 months. this is something I think is going to come up now with all the people in forbearances that have.
Yeah, with COVID that they didn't have a job, they weren't paying.
It's still now. It's still now.
Yeah, it's like right around.
So no, I'm saying right now they're not paying, but a lot of people are on these forbearances.
Yeah, but wasn't that because I remember last year when it started? So I mean I work at a bank and you guys know probably.
Oh, so don't hate me then.
Well, I mean you're not arguing with me. You're arguing with those attorneys. It's not my problem. No, but yeah. So I work for a bank, so I do kind of understand. What it is that you're talking about. So when COVID happened, a lot of people they didn't have jobs. So the bank stepped in and they said, you know what, we're gonna allow for the the forbearance. You don't have to pay as of right now. Maybe down the line. Until when was that? Because wasn't that just a couple of months, or did they probably extended it because of the term, right?
The federal cares, the CDC extended the federal moratorium for FHA. So GSE loans is about over 50% of the loans are government insured. Mm-hmm. So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and most people wouldn't know that their loan is even a Freddie Mac or Fannie Mae. But FHA loans and those type of loans are government insured, and those are subject still to the moratorium to the end of June 30th. So those loans are on forbearance. A lot of people are going to be a year and 3 months or so without paying. And unless there's some type of, I guess, requirement with what happens at the end of these forbearances, the banks normally have 3 options, which is either require the full payment at once.
That was like one of the things, right? Where it's like one of the little fine prints where they want all the money back. Like, yeah, you can skip 3, 6, 9 months, a year, but then all of a sudden, when it comes to it, you got to pay it all up. Who
So like it's like a balloon payment all right at the end of the forbearance, or?
So that's the thing. They give the option to the bank to make the determination whether they're going to require the full payment at the end of the forbearance, give you a year to pay the outstanding balance, or what they should do is recapitalize the loan, modify the loan, put it at the back as a balloon, or recapitalize as one new mortgage for new 30 years, 40 years from now. And that's what I think has to be done, or else we're going to have another issue like we had in 08
with a crash that now nobody can afford.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, if I'm not making money for a year, how do you expect me to pay all that money back, all at once, or even over the next year or whatever, unless I'm coming into some serious cash. So realistically, who can have that money? If I'm unemployed for like a year, all of a sudden I got to pay back 12 months within the next 12 months, plus the regular months that I'm going to be living there. I mean, it's not feasible, right? So it's tough, man. I mean, that industry, but it sounds like you're trying to fight the good cause and helping out some people.
So exactly. So that's what happened in my trial. Right. The guy had the same exact thing. What you're saying is he didn't have the 4 months to pay, was trying to make the regular monthly payment, and the bank didn't want to accept it. It was an interesting trial. That's what I like to do. I like to help the underdog, and take it, and beat the banks, and that's what I love to do. Unfortunately, that's another area that could be a whole entire show that we could have. But.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it could also affect relationships, though, right?
Well, one of the things that you had mentioned, I mean, I sent you a list to see if you were cool with it, because a lot of it is like finances, especially when it comes with the partnership, or whether you're married or not even married. Mm-hmm. And one of the questions you said is it advisable for 2 people who are not married
to get a property together, right? It's a big investment.
Boyfriend, girlfriend, like a partner, an actual
dating
relationship.
Is that something that have you seen across your alley?
Yeah, and definitely I do not recommend it. I recommend that not only, so you're saying even buying the property together, that's better than what happens with sometimes that they'll add the girlfriend or something to the title. But if you're gonna do it as a business, you could look at it as a business, that you're buying it with this girlfriend or boyfriend as a business.
So what, you open the LLC to be the holding company of the property?
No, you could do it together. I'm just saying you can't look at it as like a married couple, because
it's different. There's no.
Anytime anybody wants to sell you in Florida, you're entitled to what's called a partition at any time. And so even if you just signed the deed and added your girlfriend, so let's say you have this property free and clear, and you're like, I want to protect my girlfriend in case something happens to me, and you're not married to her, so you want to protect her in case something happens to you. You added her to the deed. Something happens that, she cheats or whatever may happen, and, she says, forget about him. I want you off I want to sell the property now. She's entitled to 50% of the value of the property. Shit. And without putting a penny, she'd be entitled to half the value. Whether she put in $0 or $1 million or $500,000, it's the same analysis. When you go down, it goes to credits after the purchase. Will be for the set off. So if, let's say, you paid the mortgage, then you may be entitled to those credits, but you're basically at square one on the date of the transfer.
So solution, just find a woman who owns a house already, and then marry her and have her add you.
I thought this was about love. I thought it was the breakup, the coffee breakup, not the coffee love show.
Well,
Goes both ways.
Of course.
So if you buy a property with somebody that you're married to, does that change like the elements of if something happens and now the assets will be split? Is that
what if like a married couple, but only the wife is on the title,
So in Florida,
and then they divorce.
So in Florida, you cannot, if it's your homestead property, you can't really do that because your homestead property, the spouse has a right to 50% of the homestead value. So you can't even get a mortgage if you wanted. You can't get a note on a property that you're going to live at as your homestead without the spouse signing the mortgage, and that's why you normally see.
Yeah.
So that's why you normally see like a note only has one obligor, but you will see both people on the on the mortgage.
On the mortgage, yeah,
and you'll see both of them sign the deed. That's because you
just giving like the okay of like, yeah.
Well, you're signing because you're allowing a mortgage to be placed on a property that you have a right to, even though you're not in the title. If it is an investment property, then you're good with that.
Interesting.
So you if it's a property you're not going to keep as your homestead, then it's fine.
Right.
It's an issue later with divorcing and if you get divorced and the asset, if it's so it could affect the equitable distribution in a divorce. Then you could go one step further. What happens to premarital houses? Houses that you have before you're married, those belong to you. They're premarital assets, so you wouldn't divide those later, as long as you own them before. But if you commingle, another thing that you were saying is, if you're not together and you're trying to just buy a house together, but it gets even like more, I guess, broader. If you just have a bank account, right? So if you have a bank account and you say, "Oh, I want to add my girlfriend to my bank account," so let her use my credit card. She could clean you out. And she's within her legal.
Yeah, she
right
could just close the account. Yeah, she can
like an authorized user, right?
Yeah, no,
for a credit card. Yeah, but for example, like let's say I have a checking account, I have a $10,000 in it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna add you to the account as a joint owner. You can go tomorrow, close the account, and take all my money.
Right,
because you're entitled to it.
Yeah, legal means wow, that's rough.
Exactly.
So bottom line, don't get a joint bank account.
Don't get married, I think is what I found.
No, or get married.
Get married. Well,
get married, and that you could only take half. Well, actually, she could still clean it out as a joint, as being part.
So
of it.
It doesn't sound like there's
yeah. But what are we talking about? The coffee breakup or the coffee
coffee union?
Have you ever had just to briefly piggyback off of that? Have you ever had like a case like that where divorce or splitting, and then it comes to like the assets?
At least in the firm.
So one interesting case also is paternity, right? So paternity is not established if you are not married. So if you have a kid with your girlfriend, you are not legally known as the father until there's an establishment of paternity.
Really?
Yeah. So for example, let's say you have there's boyfriend and girlfriend have a kid. Girlfriend wants to move to Texas, or we actually had a case like this where girlfriend moved to Texas and said, and there was no order of paternity, moves to Texas with the kid, and the baby's father had no right to stop it because he wasn't technically legally the father, even though he was known the father. Everyone knew he was the father.
Signed the birth certificate.
There's no presumption that he's the father.
So how do you make it official? How do you legalize that without being married? You have to.
Well, you would need that paternity test to prove.
The first thing in a paternity action, so in a child's when there's a paternity action, the first thing you got to do is do the DNA test and make a determination or establish paternity. Yeah. So in that case, we tried to fight to bring jurisdiction to Florida, to Miami-Dade County, and because she had already moved, we couldn't even file. The court didn't even have jurisdiction over that paternity claim because she had moved to Texas.
That's
so the guy had to fight in Texas.
Wow.
These are the crazy things because it's like legal and like the law is so detailed that you would never imagine. And ultimately it's what you can prove, it's what you have that's tangible.
Right.
Because if you father, like you actually, you and your girlfriend make a baby, it's like, oh, you're not the father until we know.
Exactly.
Even though you were there, no, that's not the dad.
We got to establish that.
Wow. That's nuts.
I would have never thought that.
We've had cases where the wife ends up sleeping with one of the kids' parents, and the father finds out about it. The husband finds out about it. They, there's a huge drama.
No way.
All types of cases. I mean, imagine it's real life, reality TV, but real.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the scripted kind.
Yeah, it's real. There's crazy stuff that happens.
I guess when people come to you, it's like when they're like sometimes are their worst moments, right? Like nobody goes to a lawyer and things are really good, necessarily good. They rather they go and shit hits the fan. So
Yeah, because I mean, do people even need an attorney for good stuff? It's not like a therapist, because a therapist. I mean, we had the conversation with Alessia where it's like, people think that it's like a dead end when you go to a therapist. Like, oh, we need to rescue their relationship, or I'm feeling at my lowest. I need a therapist. But you've gone to therapy, and when you're in your best, and it's just continue adding, right?
Right. Like doing like almost like a little checkup. Hey, everything's good, but you're not gonna call your lawyer. I mean, hey,
right?
How's everything? Life's great.
But actually, it should be as well for certain things, right? So if you're gonna, if you're fortunate enough to win the lottery, or you have some properties that you've come up with, or you got to divide properties, or you want to sell properties, we do closings. Also for estate planning. You don't want to leave the boyfriend girlfriend. The girlfriend gets nothing. The boyfriend gets nothing. Unless you have a will. So if you don't want to get married, make sure you have a will if you want to protect that person. That you're with. So even in good times, you could use an attorney for certain things, so.
Fair enough. I guess that's true.
All right. Let's circle back to this thing.
Juicy stuff. The reason we're all here right now.
So, okay. So, back to what we said. We received this and we panicked and there's really nothing here. And then, I mean, can we even talk about the basis of what it is? Like, I think we can start dabbling into.
Sure.
All right, cool. Right? I can go over it.
Can we?
One of my favorite parts of this, and you tell me, legally I'm allowed to say it. Specifically, please cease and desist from disseminating the podcast, digital media, and or publication via any means titled "My Ex is Pregnant with Your Ex." So obviously with that one, I think we can, if I can keep it in the podcast, those who are watching, they're kind of, I think they'd understand the direction and what's going on. But that was pretty much the basis of everything. And if you've seen the clip and even on the episode, there were no names said. And on this whole entire thing, it's blacked out. That's every single time that a name was mentioned that wasn't even mentioned on. Here, I got you.
I got it.
All right, cool. We can see how many times we've blacked it out. That's how many times the name pops up, which we never even mentioned. So if we don't say anything and we don't even mention a name, how can now anyone like this and say, well, they're talking about us?
So again, you guys are both gentlemen, and you guys are willing to black those names out. But even if you did say the names, I don't think that you guys would have any legal issues with what was said and what was done in that podcast, because technically it's true. It's public, right? Everybody knows that these people are married and these people have a kid, and the dates of that are facts, right? So it's not like something that's private. It's not that you're disclosing somebody had a private matter. It's a sex tape that you had, or somebody's diagnosis of, STD or something like that. You're not disclosing anything of that nature. It's a fact. Right. It's public, right? So one of the elements for what they were trying to say of an invasion of privacy is something that is private. And this in itself is not private. Right. So even though you went as a gentleman, again, Chris and Marvin, you are both gentlemen, and you're not going to say the names. I think even if you did say the names, you would be okay.
Sounds like you really want us to say the names.
Nah, don't say the names. I mean, you guys have already made that decision.
Put like a flash alert on the screen of their names. Like, all right, so let's strip down both videos then, because on the first video, which was "My Ex is Pregnant with Your Ex," you pretty much say a story of how your ex, one of
my exes, which there were multiple,
right? Apparently, had a child with somebody else's ex, which ultimately could be anybody.
Exactly. Right.
And yet no name was ever said whatsoever.
No details.
No, not even a detail. It was more of, and in fact, I was completely shocked. I had no idea. Right. Neither did you even, I mean, you sort of vaguely knew because of who she was, but not like you guys discussed it or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just again, it came up on this show, not for anything to hurt anybody, to go after anybody. Again, the show is about expressing our past experiences and being honest and being vulnerable. This was something that happened to me at a particular time in my life. And
I bet you're not the only person that it's happened to also.
And essentially, that is what this is about, helping other people. Oh, shit, this happened to me too. Wow, I had no idea. This guy.
I thought I was alone the whole time. Exactly. No one would understand what I've gone through. But wait, on the coffee breakup, the guest said this. Wow, now I understand. What did she do or what did he do to get through it? Man, now I don't feel so alone.
Exactly.
Boom, now we can kind of open up that dialogue.
And that is what the show is about. It's informative. It's not to slander anybody. It's not
Which we did not
do.
You didn't mention a name as a gentleman.
As
Both of you gentlemen did not mention the names.
100%.
But what if we would have mentioned a name with the whole story? Would that be at all in violation of the statutory and common law privacy rights, in particular your use of Mrs. Blank's name, image, and or likeness, and or your disclosure of Mrs. Blank's private facts?
So again, these are not private facts, right? She's married to this individual. In fact, both of those individuals are on this letter, right? So you have the two individuals. So what you're saying is not a private fact. This is a public fact that everybody knows. And even the letter says that these are two individuals together. So the fact that they're married is a fact. The fact that the dates that they got together is a fact. That's public, and
Yeah, and again, no name was mentioned, no likeliness. So it's at the end of the day, I mean, this is without merit.
My question is this.
I've already told you guys, both of you, if they did sue you, I would represent both of you, as I hate injustices. I would call it pro bono, but then I can't get fees against them if we win, and it's frivolous. But so let's call it on a pure contingency that you only pay me if I get my fees from them, but we'll get it from them.
I like that.
So, yeah, no, because the way I see it is like this attorney who sent us this, they're the ones that they put the names out. They're the ones that are saying these two that you are talking about deliberately, this is an issue. Yet we weren't even the ones to state the names. In fact, I mean, I don't want to say, if anyone were to see this, anyone, just not me, just anyone else, they would probably say this is ridiculous, because if they didn't say a name, now these guys are putting a target, or they're saying, hey, by the way, we're these people. Now let's stick it to them. But there's nothing to stick.
Correct. And again, you guys are gentlemen. Even you didn't even know, Chris. I'm saying seriously.
True.
Marvin didn't even tell you going in about the fact of what it was that he was talking about. So you figured it out after in your podcast. True. After this guy, I'm telling you, he's a freaking gentleman, man. I mean,
appreciate that.
He needs an award, but yeah, you are completely within your rights to talk about it. You're completely within your rights to share with anybody a letter that you received, right? So if you wanted to share this letter that you received, you are within your rights to do it.
The way that I see it is,
you're gonna share it.
I really want to. Look. Here's what I like.
You have it blacked out. I got the unblacked out version.
What would happen? What would happen? Because is this a public document? Could this be considered private?
It's not a public document, and I mean, there's nothing that would preclude you from sharing a document that you received. I mean, this is a document that you received. That's a fact, right? Right. So you just received this document. No, you didn't say anything in the names of what you were talking about in that podcast. Only you know about this letter, but this letter is just a letter. It's not something that would be something of disclosing private facts with a letter that you received from a law firm. It's not. I'm not sure that that's disclosing private facts by sharing a letter that you received.
Right. I mean, I'm saying it in the sense because, like, for example, since this was sent directly to us, not so much that it is private, but because it was sent directly to us, no one else knows that this is here. So if we were to disclose this, couldn't someone make the argument of, oh, well, this was a private matter that now they're disclosing the names that are on the paper?
So the other element is that it has to be offensive of what you've disclosed.
I'm offended.
You're offended, but you're not the person that's the subject of the alleged offensive offensive comments. But you're going into the STDs, and that is still a gray area. Because if other people know about it and things like that, it's not like black and white that by disclosing an STD, I think there was cases with Michael Vick where they were talking about that he had herpes. And I'm not saying this, I'm just saying that these were allegations.
Well, Usher was one of them.
Usher was one of them too, right?
About it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let it burn.
Is that how the song goes?
Yeah, you gotta let it burn. Now we know what he's talking about. So yeah, things like, okay.
But even as an STD is a gray area, you guys are well within your rights to have shared, what was said.
No, and again, listen, this letter was actually sent, forgive me, to me directly.
I'm glad you brought that
up. This was not even sent to the Coffee Breakup official email or whatnot. It was sent to me directly to two of my emails, personal emails.
And on top of that,
I was actually contacted directly by
one of the individuals.
One of the individuals, apparently, I don't know who he is. Could be anybody, I don't know. And he reached out to me multiple occasions. And
on multiple platforms.
On multiple platforms, exactly. So at night, at a particular time, I was sleeping and disturbed, my peace. So for that being said, I mean,
do you feel like Like, do you have distress?
Exactly, 100%. So it's possible that this person may have overstepped their boundaries by reaching.
Couldn't this be seen as like some sort of intimidation or
reaching out to me directly and
harassment? I mean, to a certain degree. I mean, we can fight it though.
Yeah, I
Let's
mean,
do it.
debatable.
Let's
Yeah, it's
Let's
debatable, but I mean, this was somebody that wanted to preclude. I think that what this was a preemptive letter to try to stop you or scare you all from posting the podcast. You know what you guys had going on yesterday. Yeah. I think that's what they were. That where their angle was.
They just wanted to like not let the podcast be out.
Exactly,
like,
and they were scared. And also, I mean, you know, I saw the clip, you know, and I was like, I was intrigued. Everybody's intrigued. What's going on? What are you guys going to talk about? You know, so maybe they thought there was more. Maybe they thought that, you know, maybe she forgot what a gentleman Marvin was, you know, and that he would talk about more. So, you know, I mean, now that we saw the clip, right?
That is true. Yeah, because they didn't want the whole podcast to be released based off of one clip that didn't even mention any names. To what degree can you say? Because what if now every episode they're like, oh, well, they put this one clip out every episode. Now they can't put it out. Because that's what it's. Look. Specifically, please cease and desist from disseminating the podcast, digital media, and or publication via any means. Well, this one's speaking specifically about that titled. That's but you know, just for the podcast. So then that means we could never use My Ex is Pregnant with Your Ex as a title.
Well, they're trying to say not to disseminate that podcast.
But who's to say that it was that one that we posted that aired?
Well, I guess you could change the name then and say, hey, I didn't do it.
That's what I'm saying.
But you know, we were talking about this earlier, and we were talking about it. Look at all the songs and look at all like the artists that have songs. Right. You know, Taylor Swift based her whole career on exes and what they did. So if what you did was illegal or unlawful in Florida, then Taylor Swift would not be able to have made millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, she would have to
every
pay
single
everybody.
One of her songs. I mean, look at all the songs that she sings. They all have to do with exes that cheated on her allegedly or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Another question that I wanted to add to what you said, because if it is, you know, based like this is all meant for the business or the coffee breakup, you know, together, why would it be sent directly to him? Number one. And two, if they have an attorney involved, why would then one of the individuals reach out to
me directly?
So this goes into...
Doesn't that kind of feel like what's the whole point of getting the attorney for you to now?
Well, again, I think it goes back to our theory of why they sent this was to try to scare you in not posting the podcast. And they knew that you were going to be posting it today, and they wanted to make sure that somebody got a hold of this letter before today came out. Stop, exactly, midnight, 9 o'clock, 8 p.m. You know, hurry up and stop and don't post it. So I think it goes with it's consistent with what we believe is what they did with this letter was try to intimidate you all to not post it, and that is the fact that they sent it to you through email. They don't send it through mail. They don't send it through certified mail or fax. I mean, who uses fax? But I mean, they only send it through they only send it through email, and then they're contacting you guys on your social media account saying, "Hey, check your email." You know,
but that's crossing the line at that point, because it's like, because I mean, I don't know, because what if he would have responded? Wouldn't that just triggered, or couldn't potentially this attorney then be like, "Oh well, now he's responding, we can probably use what he's saying against him." For whatever reason,
of course they could. Anybody could always use what you're. Well, I mean, you can anything you ever say, especially on a forum that you guys have this podcast. I mean, they can try to use it against you. And you know, one thing, you know, going into another segment is another day is maybe some type of insurance in case something happens that you could consider. But I don't think you need it for this particularly. No. But I think that again, their whole goal was to make sure. I think they were trying to be preemptive in stopping you all, knowing that really they don't have any merit to their claim, and they just wanted to see if they could stop and stop that from airing. But again, these were facts that happened. The dates are dates. The date the kid was born, The date they got married is a fact. So
again, listen, at the end of the day, the truth is the truth, and what we disclose on our own show, we have every right to do so. Nobody was mentioned. Nobody was hurt. This could have been anybody.
But even if we do, even if we do provide details of who they are, us not even saying who they are, it can still be left up to, you know, interpretation. Or could it kind of be like filtered down to, oh well, it's obvious that it's.
Again, I don't think there was anything wrong, even if you said the names in this particular case.
We're gentlemen.
No, I don't think that even saying the names was wrong, but being broad is enough to not. Who would have the damages? You didn't disclose their names, so you would. One of the elements is that you would have to disclose it in a public forum, and in disclosing that in a public forum, you would have had to disclose their names to invade their privacy. So just because somebody could assume what they believe who it is, that wouldn't be enough to meet the elements of a claim in
right
under these facts.
And even so, like if we're on a show and I say, hey, Chris is a piece of so and so, every Chris in the world is going to be, oh yeah, this guy is going after me. Like I don't want, he has to take it down. I mean, it's an argument to make, right? Even if we were to say the name again, which we didn't. But obviously, again, this is far fetched. It sucks that it came to this, but ultimately, I think we're winning our rights to talk about what we want to talk about on our own show.
Anybody could talk about your own life, man.
Exactly.
I'm telling you, like you could speak about your facts. I mean, you've been very open on this podcast. You've been very open about your life and things that have happened to you that other people may not have talked about. Right. You know, you're well within your rights to do it. If you want to talk about what's happened to you and your experiences and you're sharing with the world to help people understand and maybe, you know, help people that's going through something similar than what you've gone through, then there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you haven't named any names with this. No. You know, there's really nothing wrong with it. It's really offensive, to be honest with you, as an attorney, to see somebody try to stop somebody's First Amendment rights from having that discussion and using your experiences. And I mean, that had to be a little bit awkward what happened to you guys yesterday, you know? So,
let's say they were to say, hey, let's grab onto anything and let's actually take it to court. Let's sue them. Given the actual facts and given what is at hand, everything that's been disclosed, can there be any repercussions to this attorney for actually thinking that he can take this seriously when there's literally nothing that he can do? So, and I'm sorry, especially as you said, like, oh, it's a little offensive, you know, from what literally what you just said, it gets to the point where someone can see this and like, how dare you? Like, you're literally just doing this to just be a piece of whatever, just to harm them.
So Florida has what's called 57105, which is a statutory basis to get attorney's fees against the party involved in the litigation and the attorney. And they go 50-50. In fact, on May 12th, an opinion came out with Shaq, where it's an interesting case, actually.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
So Shaq's attorney, Shaq had, there was a divorce, there was litigation, then within that litigation, there was these 25,000 emails that were going to portray Shaq in a bad light. And they tried to use these emails, and they got a sanctioned order of $400,000 against the attorney that tried to threaten Shaq with these emails. So to answer your question, Florida protects litigants from bad faith claims against them. There's a process you have to go through. You have to send a notice pursuant to 57105, give 21 days for them to withdraw the claim. And if they don't, then eventually if you win, you would get your attorney's fees against them. There's also what's called a SLAP lawsuit, which would mean like a frivolous lawsuit, which would be a lawsuit that would be, if they were to sue on these facts, would be a SLAP lawsuit. You could also get attorney's fees for that as well.
Interesting. So there's potential repercussions for people who want to act in bad faith. Right. I guess moving forward from this, how would your response be? Obviously, we've contacted you. This is what we received. Moving forward, how will you proceed? Right. So
ideally, you would not be sued, right? Because you didn't do anything wrong, and I don't think any. And I'm familiar with this law firm. The guy's a decent attorney. He's knowledgeable. I would hate to have to, no attorney wants to go after another attorney. I would hate to have to even send that letter. It's kind of awkward saying, hey, your case is frivolous, and here's this 57105 notice. Get rid of your lawsuit. It's almost like you don't want to do that as an attorney. You want to, even though I look at being an attorney as a sport. You get along. As a boxer, you fight your opponent. While you get along with your opponent off the ring, out of the ring, and when you're in the ring, you try to kill him. Right. But out of the ring, that's your colleague. You shake hands. Good game. See you next time. So you don't want to seek fees against another attorney, and ideally, you wouldn't have to do that in this case because I don't think that this attorney, knowing what his caliber or what he should be, would not file a lawsuit on these facts. So I think that the next step would be hopefully he understands that he shouldn't be, filing a lawsuit because nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to go through that process.
Right.
Yeah, I think that because it was written to us, I think they thought that they could take advantage and say, well, these guys, we're going to spook them, like you said. They're not going to have any legal, representation. And again, we thank you so much for stepping in and being able to help us. Because we honestly feel like we're just being taken advantage off of a personal matter when nothing was even addressed. It could have been up to anyone's interpretation. But someone wanted to put their actual names that we're not going to disclose because we are gentlemen of who they are. Like, we never even mentioned them, but you hired the attorney to then put your name and put yourself out there. In fact, now we can say, hey, you guys are the people who decided to put your face on this. Like, do you think we got something here to put like in the press? Like, I want to go to Miami New Times and be like, look how ridiculous this is, bro. Like, imagine it does go to court.
No, I don't think this would make it past, a motion to dismiss on its face of the complaint and a motion for sanctions. I think this case, normally this case wouldn't survive and wouldn't be one of those cases where we talked about it 2 years in the litigation.
Right. Yeah.
This would be a case that gets, summary judgment or motion to dismiss. This is not a case. I'm telling you, I think the purpose of this letter was to try to intimidate you all to remove it and not play the clip. I don't think that the actual intention would be to file a lawsuit. And again, I already told you, we could put that in writing if you want. I got you.
No, it's not even that, because
I don't think you got anything to be worried about with a lawsuit on this case.
What I do like is that you're saying, like, you do kind of see it as a low blow for an attorney to even approach it in this direction. And you're saying you do see your career as a sport. At the end of the day, you go in there, you want to win your case, but at the end of the day, like, hey, good game. I see it as do you think that if you were to get responded by an attorney, he's going to be like, I don't want to, I don't want to screw this guy over, for what? Like, there's really nothing here. I thought we were just going to spook him, but hey guys, individual A and B, they're legit. There's really nothing we have here. We're literally going to waste our time. I think we tried and we failed.
I think that they shot their shot. I think this was their shot. And I don't think that there's going to be another step. This is my opinion. I've been wrong a lot of times, but I don't foresee an actual lawsuit out of this. And if there was, again, we would have to go through the process of having to, unfortunately seek an attorney's fee sanction against an attorney that would file a frivolous lawsuit, because there is no basis in law or fact to proceed a claim under these facts.
I mean, if they were to pursue this, a judge would literally look at this and be like, yo, what the fuck is this shit? Like, is this, I mean, they would look at the case, right?
Word for word. Yeah. What the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, that's what they're going to think in their head. Right, I don't know if they would say that on the record, but I'm pretty sure in their head they're going to say, yo, what the fuck is this shit? But in their head, I'm assuming that that's probably what they're going to say. And then most likely they're going to dismiss the case. And in the event that we had to file that 57105, we would eventually have to seek the attorney fees against the individuals and the attorney, and again, that's not what we like to do, but it's, unfortunately, that's part of the game.
I'm just picturing like the judge, like
putting on the glasses, like
for real. Oh my goodness. Well, I have a little bit of peace of mind. You feel more calm after yesterday's scare?
I do. And again, another thing, we got the letter at 6 p.m. and then between 6 p.m. and we had about 13 hours for the episode to go live. They reached out 3 times, so they really wanted us. Yo, don't post this shit. Don't post this. Don't post this. But guess what? You know what? It's out there, and I'm happy about it. Man.
Well, by now we're also gonna have, the secondary. Because have you seen? Well, by now we have salvaged the file.
Sure.
So we were able to recover it, and since everything's okay. But before we do that, have you seen the full clip?
5 minutes.
Everything that was discussed.
I can't wait to see it.
Okay, so you want to know what? We're gonna take a short pause, a nice little break.
Yeah.
And we'll be
right back. What's up, everybody?
Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick break right in between the show, kind of along the end at this point, but just wanted to say, thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much for watching the video. Mm-hmm. And if you are here and you haven't already, please like this video down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. The goal is, the more subscribers, the more likes, the more everything that we get on YouTube and even on social media and stuff. It allows us to continue growing, to spread the positive message of what it is that we're trying to do, being open,
honest, vulnerable, and just having that dialogue, having that discussion. I think that's what it's all about. That's what we're trying to achieve. So
at the end of the day, maybe you go through something that someone else can resonate, and it all comes down to being able to spread that message. So again, if you haven't already, please like the video really quick, subscribe to the YouTube channel,
and follow us on social media.
Ring the notification bell. Make sure you're up to date with everything that we're doing.
All right.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
So yeah, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Ciao. All right, guys, we are back.
All right, so welcome back, guys. So during the break, we had Ricky over here. He reviewed the video. So tell us the recovered assets.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good. Nothing to worry about. There was nothing there. Again, you didn't say any names. You didn't say anything that would invade the privacy. All right. You didn't say anything that wasn't already public, because from what we saw, this is stuff that was posted on Twitter or on public forums. This information is not private. So that's it. I think that takes it out of the equation of an invasion of privacy claim. So don't worry about it. Again, you guys are good.
Okay. Beautiful. That's it.
Lovely.
Nice.
Alrighty, so before we wrap everything up, so we usually like ending the show with like a final thoughts, and that could be anything that you wish you can tell to your younger self, anything that probably you know the biggest thing that your takeaway, maybe you wake up every morning and you say in the mirror, before you start your day, or just anything in general that you live by. So we're gonna give you kind of the floor, whatever it is that you want to. Take your time. I'll cut it if you want.
I don't know that I would want to air this, but it's. All of us are so blessed, straight up. Everybody here behind the scenes, we're all so blessed. We have our feet, we have our hands, we have our mouth, we have our voice, we have our ears. And one of the hardest things to do is appreciate our every day that we have, and we our stress, everybody has their stresses, everybody has their things that affect them, and that, but if you think about it in the big picture of what everybody, at least here for sure, is to be thankful for what we have. And one thing that I try to do is have my daughter thank God every night before we go to sleep. We have to do a little prayer where she thanks God for her feet so she could walk, her hands so she could touch, her mouth so she could talk, her eyes so she could see, and her ears so she can hear. And I'm sorry, I get a little emotional because I lose touch in what it is. I think I have a bad day and I'm like, man, I hate this profession, I hate what I do, I don't want to do it. And you wake up the next day and it's fine. So. And, so I'm very blessed. I have my wife, I have a beautiful family. Even some people here behind the scenes, I have a wonderful family. I'm very blessed. I'm beyond blessed. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be here with you all. I'm thankful that you all got your sponsorship, Manscaped, go check them out, protect the family jewels, right?
Yay! That's true.
Clearly you're not using it for the top, right? So, honestly, so I appreciate you all letting me be here and speak, and I hope, people learn not to be scared just because somebody sends you a letter. You people have the right to representation. Go reach out to an attorney. We offer free consultations at our office. If people want to reach out to us with the Corona Law Firm, our website is www.coronapa.com. Our number is 305-547-1234. We have a free consultation at our office anytime. Come in, check us out. Again, we cater more to the blue collar type consumer. But we've represented everybody from the small person to the conglomerate. And thanks again, Christian and Marvin. And again, you guys are gentlemen, and I appreciate the time to being able to speak here with you all.
Ricky, thank you so much. What an honor.
If anyone is a gentleman, Jesus. So I'm airing all of that. I hope you understand that. That was
fabulous.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So
100% accurate, by the way. But again, thank you for being here. It's an honor to have you. And we greatly appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for
100%.
the support. Yeah, and with that being said, it is time to break up.
Yes, it is.
Hence the name. You follow? So, yes, Mr. Corona, Ricky Corona. Thank you so much for coming onto the show. Number one, again, the basis is we want to be able to help people. And one of the things that you enjoy most is helping people yourself. So, we're very grateful, to not only for you to help us out, have our back, but also for you to, come on, educate a little bit, only for ourselves, the people who are watching, and, taking the time. And obviously, you're very, very passionate man. You're a gentleman yourself, a very good, great husband, a great father from what I see. And it truly was an honor to have you on the show today.
I appreciate it, guys.
Thanks so much, Ricardo.
Thank both of you, man. Thanks a lot.
That being said, really quick before you go, if you guys are still watching, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel,
subscribe.
that notification bell, subscribe again.
Exactly.
What do you want to tell them again?
Subscribe.
Subscribe.
Should have subscribed.
Subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Hit up the website.
Coffeebreakup.com.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Ciao, guys.